Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. Welcome to my April 2021 reading wrap up. So these are all the classic books that I read in the month of April that don't slot into other videos. So history book reviews, historical fiction book reviews, classic crime book reviews. You get the gist. I actually didn't read that much in April. I think I read a grand total of like 9, which isn't that much for me, but hey ho. I still have 3 to share with you, so getting straight into it. The first book that I read is actually a reread for me, but I do already have a full-length book review of this book on my channel, so I thought I'd just pop it in a wrap up, and that is Map and Lucia by E.F. Benson. I have a playlist on my channel which is Map and Lucia series by E.F. Benson, and I am slowly reviewing each book in the series. There's 6 full-length novels in this series and a couple of short stories too, but there are 6 full-length novels. I plan on reviewing all of them eventually. So far I've reviewed the first 3, and then I reviewed this one years ago, so there are a total of the 4, and I've got the other 2 left to go. But yeah, so it didn't need to go into a separate review, I could just talk about here. So a reread, I think the 3rd time reading it, I think, and I really love it. If you've never read Map and Lucia, if you've never read the series, you can kind of start anywhere. I actually started here in the series, and that's absolutely fine. It's about 2 women, Elizabeth Mapp, Lucia Lucas, and their rivalry to be queen bees of the town of Tilling. And in this book, Lucia Lucas and Georgie Pilson, her best friend, they come to Tilling and they stay in, well, Lucia stays in the Queen Anne house, which is Elizabeth Mapp's house, for the summer, and their rivalry really kicks off, and it's just wonderful. I really love it, and there's just so much that happens in this book. I mean, it's getting on for, it's over 300 pages with quite small text really, and just so much happens, and it's so funny, and each time I read it there's something else for me to laugh at, or I laugh at the same bits. It's just, E.F. Benson has this wonderful comedic writing style, and I just adore it. 5 stars, and as I said, if you haven't read it already, highly suggest you do, particularly if you love British humour like I do. Or my mum always says my humour is quite silly because I like Mr. Bean and things like that, but I just think it's quite British in humour. Anyway, the next book that I actually read for the first time is this one. This one is All Passion Spent by Vita Sackville-West. This is my first Vita Sackville-West book that I've ever read. I did a video a little while ago, Classics That I Need to Get To Soon, in which I spoke about The Edwardians by Vita Sackville-West, which is probably her most famous work, and I have tried to read it a couple of times since making that video. Sadly not successfully, but I thought I'd give this one a go because it's only short, and I did it, I was through it. It's from 1930s, 1931 to be precise, and it's about a man called Lord Snain who dies. And after his death, his wife, of course, is left a widow, and the children of this couple are like, what are we going to do with mother? Well, she can go and live with you for so-and-so, and she'll live with you for that bit, and then live with you for those months. And that's how they think she wants to live her life, just dotted in between her children until she passes away. And she's like, I'm not doing that. And so she goes and gets her own little house and gains her independence, and her children are quite shocked at that. But she carries on living her rest of her life rather independently, and why not? It's wonderful. I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was a wonderful book. I thought it was a little bit tricky to get into, the writing quite heavy. I found myself reading it in the way in which I read Austen, which is complete silence, and having to read some sentences quite a few times to really get into. But once you're in the rhythm of it, I found I actually really enjoyed it and thought it was a great story with lots of great characters. And the other thing that I'll say about it was a little bit tricky is if I put it down. So if I put it down for like a day, then I'd come back to the next day. I found it a bit tricky to get back into again. But I did really enjoy the writing and thought it was wonderful, and you can see Vita Sackville-West's talent is so prominent in the novel. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more by her. I'm definitely going to give her a little bit of a break because, as I said, she is heavy, but certainly well worth the read if you haven't read her already. And then from one Vita Sackville West, the last book that I read in April is another Vita Sackville West. This is A Note of Explanation, a little tale of secrets and enchantment from Queen Mary's doll's house. This is a stunning book. I put this on my Instagram. It's just beautiful, so go and check that out there if you want to see it in more detail. I want to tell you about this book, but I find it a bit difficult, so I'm going to read the blurb that for some reason is separate. It's because they've done that. So it says, preserved on a bookshelf in the library of the Doll's House, created for Queen Mary in 1924, this enchanting story tells the tale of a time-travelling spirit who inhabits the Doll's House and seen by conservators, visitors, and even Queen Mary herself. And that is it. So it's about this woman who essentially travels in time in the doll's house, and she can't be seen, and she can just enjoy her journey. Look! It's beautiful. It's so stunning. Oh, I just dropped a book. That's how excited I am. I dropped a book. Yeah, I love it. Look. Okay, that's all I'm showing you. But it's such a quick read, so fun. And do you know what? It's always such a shame that books have gone out of print or unfound for such a long time. I think that's why I love classics so much, you know, particularly like series like the Faramida book series and the British Library and Women Writers series and Persephone books, because they are finding these forgotten treasures and reprinting them for us to enjoy. And I love that. I love that so much. So yeah, those are the 3 books that I read in April. Oh, that was Puppy just doing a shake. I hope you enjoyed it. Chat to me in the comments, all things bookish. What have you been reading recently? And I shall see you soon for the next video. Take care. Bye.